Good day, everyone. This is Moving Mark back out on the route again with one of my next Route 66 Spotlight videos. And as you can tell with the sign in front of you right now, you can tell where we're at. I'm here with one of my very, very good friends along Route 66, Larry, here at the Safari Motel in Tucumcari, New Mexico. And I'm going to let him tell us a little bit about his motel and what Route 66 means to him, and just kind of come from the heart a little bit. Good morning, Larry. How are you, sir? Good
morning, Mark. Be here. You gonna hold it or only take it? Okay. Motel Safari originally opened in 1959, celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. Has always been in continuous operation, save a few brief periods of closure between ownerships. But never shuttered for any extended time. So 6 years on the Mother Road. It was briefly a Best Western franchise or affiliate at one point. But other than that, it's always been the Motel Safari, never anything else, which is increasingly rare here on the road. It has went through many ownerships, but a few more than some other places. But it was built by Chester Dorr and operated by him and his wife for a few years. They built 4 other motels along 66, one here in Tucumcari, a couple in Flagstaff, one in Missouri. And then was most well-known owners were the Fries, who local family still here in town that owned it, mostly in the 70s and 80s. And then the Tallies that bought in 2007, did a full restoration update to the place, really saved it after it's suffering through a few bad owners. And I bought it in 2017 and continuing on their work. So that's where the motel is right now. It's we have 14 rooms operating at this point, 12 standard rooms, and 2 king suites, the Rockabilly Suite and the Rawhide Suite, which are increasing in popularity as they're getting to be more widely known. Really, really cool suites. I would say the best suites on the Mother Road. I think I would say that because they are pretty cool and they're completely unexpected. When people stop at a 60-year-old motor court, they don't expect to find those rooms, and even our standard rooms are above and beyond what a lot of the places are. So they're just, Tallies did a very nice job of doing things tastefully and embracing the mid-century modern design of the place, but still keeping that kind of retro kind of feel. But great beds, top quality linens, towels, that kind of thing. It's important and very clean, squeaky clean is on our sign. So we do our best to keep that going. What was the other question?
What does the Mother Road or Route 66 mean to you, and how are you connected with that? How did you become connected with it? I guess is a good question with you coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm from Knoxville. Actually, Tucumcari was how I discovered Route 66, kind of funny enough. I was moving from Knoxville to Los Angeles back in the 90s, and we came through, pulled off I-40 into Tucumcari just because we're trying to find a place to stop for the night. Thought Tucumcari was an interesting name for a town, didn't know anything about it, knew next to nothing about Route 66, and at that point there was still a lot of the old neon left. It wasn't quite what it is now. Of course, that was many years ago. But we stayed at the Blue Swallow and spent the night here, and it just caught my imagination. I wanted to know more, so I got to LA, and this was pre-internet, so I went to the library and checked out some books and started reading up on Route 66. And the whole LA experience didn't last very long. After about a year, I went back to Tennessee, but Route 66 stayed in my head. And it was several years before I found a friend that would actually was interested in doing the trip. So it was a while before I actually did my first trip, but once I did, before the first one was done, I was already planning the second, and then it just became several trips. Some of them the road in its entirety, other in segments, and after several trips, meeting some of the people I met, just all of it, the people, the history, culture, all of that, kind of just, I became just one of those, I guess what's called now a roadie. I didn't know that at the time, didn't call myself anything, but, became an enthusiast, just became someone that was really just captured by the whole culture and history of it all. And so about 3 or 4 years ago, about 4 years ago, I started really thinking about doing something on the road and investing in buying a property, something that I could help preserve and keep going. Because what I realized was meeting the people I'd met, folks like Gary Turner and Ramona and all these folks along the road had been doing this for years, and some people were getting a little older. They were talking about retirement. Gary passed away a few years ago. All this started me really thinking about what can I do to help keep it going. And I've stressed many times that for the road to continue not only surviving but thriving, it takes people buying properties, and it's great that everyone's taking photos and posting online, and that's helpful for sure. But if anyone that really loves Route 66 is in a position to do so, I just encourage them to buy something, to invest, to own a property, operate it. That's what's going to keep the road alive into the coming years. It's ownership and the right people owning the properties. But for me, it was just, I knew I was at that place I could. A lot of factors kind of fell into place, and corporate job I was just absolutely sick of and didn't want to do anymore. So for me, it worked out. I didn't have anybody to answer to but myself, so I could kind of pick up and go. And so that's what I did. I found, search didn't actually last too long, found this place really fast. And once I started looking, and actually thanks to a friend of mine, found it on Facebook that was for sale. Came out here to check it out. Had never stayed here, which I regret now. And there's the phone. Let me turn off. And got 2 of them. Or do you want to cut, or are we live?
We're live.
We are live. I didn't think to ask that. So, lost my train of thought. I was where I bought it, I guess. Yeah. So I came out to check it out. It was just a really impressive place. It was just like I've said before, the Tallies did such a nice job with the place. It's so much, not to oversell it, but it's so much more than what people expect it to be. Especially at this point of the road, they've come through. They've hopefully stayed in the good places, but maybe not. They've stayed in the kind of iffy ones, and they get here and they're like, oh. And I get the comment a lot. It's the best. It's my favorite place that I've stayed. This is the best bed I've had in the whole trip. That kind of thing. It's really cool, but that's the kind of place it is. So, there's the pride and ownership for sure. But it's I'm grateful that this is what I found when I was looking, and that it worked out, and it was the right price. The town that means a lot to me anyway, that I love, and so yeah, to be here and be part of other people's Route 66 experiences, I think that's the trade-off, is that I'm not on the road all the time, but I get to be part of other people's experience, and to hear the comments, to see things that people are saying, just when people thank me for doing what I'm doing, that's cool. And that's a big part of what keeps me going. I mean, none of us out here are getting rich for sure, but we're doing what we love and what matters, and that makes it all worthwhile for sure.
I can definitely tell that in your hearts. You do have a true love for Route 66, and I'll reiterate what Larry just said. My first day here definitely was not going to be my last. This is by far my favorite motel along the route. When he says squeaky clean, it is that away. This is a next level experience here for your a new traveler or even old traveler coming along, and it's a high point of my stop along the route. Any parting words that you'd like to share with the viewing audience, maybe new people on Route 66, as far as things that you think of that they might want to stop and see, anything that is been important or instrumental in your falling in love with Route 66?
The advice I tend to give is just the road trip rules. I understand people are on a budget. I've done the trip on a budget. I get that, but don't be afraid to spend a little money. Try to support the businesses. If you're going cheap, if you're sleeping in your car or eating bologna sandwiches along the route, you're experiencing it, but you're not really contributing. And we need people to contribute. And if you can't contribute as an owner, contribute as a traveler, as a visitor, and support the businesses. Eat at the restaurants, eat local. I mean, everything local. Don't ever go to McDonald's. Go to local places. Support them. Be adventurous. It may not always pan out, but most of the time it will. I mean, of course, it's easier now. You read reviews online. You don't really have to walk into anything blind. You can always check it out first online if you're a little hesitant. But jump in, all in, experience it the way it's meant to be experienced, and see. Plus, if you do the local thing, you're going to meet the locals. You're likely to meet the restaurant owner or chef, the motel owner. You're going to meet the people that are doing this day in, day out, because most of us do this day in, day out. We don't leave very much. So you're going to likely see the people that are truly invested in their businesses, and you're supporting that, and you're supporting Route 66, because that's what keeps it all alive and turning. I'd also say in anticipation of the 100th anniversary coming up, which is just 7 years away, start making plans for that. We're hoping that we just have a ton of people on the road, and especially people here in the U.S. Love to see more. The international audience gets it. They understand what this road is, and they embrace it, and they come out enthusiastically. Take weeks to drive it, and they're just in love with it, fascinated by it all in. Love to see more Americans doing the same, because this is our road, this is our history, our culture, and it's a different kind of thing than just driving the interstate through the country. If you're going cross country, at least get off the interstate, do a stretch of 66 where you can, experience it in small pieces. You don't have to do the whole thing at once. If you can, you should, definitely. But start with little stretches of it, and that will probably lead to a full trip, because it is addictive for sure.
Well, it's a lot of good information. There's a couple of quick questions I want to follow up with here, and then we'll kind of wind this video down. You've done an amazing job, Larry. But number one, there's a ranking that goes out every year as far as your ranking in TripAdvisor. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your awards there?
Sure. It was a surprise, because I didn't even know it was a list that existed until we were on it this year. But yeah, TripAdvisor does annual rankings, 25 best properties in certain categories. So there's the 25 best budget hotels in the U.S., and Motel Safari was ranked number 4, which is pretty amazing. We were one of 3 here on 66th on the list, and all 3 were in the top 10, which is cool. And one other here in Tucumcari, which is even cooler. And but to be ranked number 4, without any real effort from me, except doing what I do. But I don't solicit reviews. I don't ask or pressure people into doing it. If they bring it up, then I definitely encourage, but I don't push people to do it. So everything that's happening with mine, I know it's true. It's not. I mean, some are friends, of course, because I make friends doing this, but it's not any doing of mine. Yeah, I'm not pushing people to review. It's all true. It's the real thing. So the reviews online for the Motel Safari are true reviews. They're not. Nothing is any doing of mine, which makes that mean all the more, because I don't know what other places do. Don't care. It's not my concern, but I want what I do to be. I want it to be the real thing. I want it to be true.
Well, it's definitely true. I'd give it a 6 stars if I could do a 6-star rating, but it won't let me. As far as how can people reach out to you, contact you through social media, through telephone number, through booking systems, how's the best way? And give us also your physical address here in Tucumcari.
The best place to reach, just regarding booking a room?
Booking or get in touch with you to get something set up with you.
Well, generally I do answer the phone if it rings. That was if I'm here. Phone calls are okay. If we do, most people want to call at the times I'm not here, or which is lunchtime, or so it's I miss a lot of calls that way. But when you're booking through a mom and pop place, just understand that the owners or the operators, most likely, that they need a break. So we do take a few hours. Hopefully, step away between checkout and check-in times. So the phone's fine.
What is that number?
The number is 575-461-1048. Email's a good way. There's a direct link to message us on our website, which is themotelsafari.com. You can directly reach me that way. There's so many ways to reach out. Facebook's a good one because I get a notice on that. Instagram has a way to message, which I didn't even know till I found messages sitting there for months. Probably the preferred, because there's just too many, just like the review sites. There's so many of them, it's hard to keep track. The best way is really message us through the website, or just info@themotelsafari.com. They'll come right to me and I'll see it. Facebook's okay, I get. That's a good way too, but I'd keep it to those two is the best way, but definitely love to hear from people. I mean, it's a great first step in meeting our guest.
Yeah, what is your physical address here in Tucumcari?
722 East Route 66 Boulevard, Tucumcari, New Mexico, 88401.
Well, fantastic, Larry. It's been a pleasure interviewing you today. Any parting words you'd like to give the audience before we call it a day?
No, just hit the road, kind of get out, explore, see America, see Route 66 is a big, huge 2,500 mile slice of Americana. Get out and experience it if you haven't. If you have, do it again. Come see us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Larry. And I can't top that. So everyone have a great day. This is Movie Mark with another episode of my Route 66 Spotlight videos. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.